You do not need to go to the gym 7 days a week to see progress. And in this video, on this whiteboard, I'm going to debunk that whole myth. When I first started lifting, I was going to the gym like 5 to 7 days a week, right? And for those 8 months of doing that, I made no progress at all. Now, was it because this split is inherently bad when I was doing like push-pull legs or some other body part split? No, because it works for some people. But notice how I said some people. Now, this split, it works for only a certain few amount of people. First are like unemployed, all the time in the world, like kind of people, right? Like they have all the time in the world to dedicate to the gym. They have really nothing else going on. They can sleep in, they can play video games all night and not really have any sort of issue, right? That isn't us. We're having businesses, we have school, college, we have like going to our 9 to 5 jobs and all this stuff. So that's not gonna be us, right? So we don't fit that mark. The other people it fits for are people who like compete, right? We got like people who do like full-time bodybuilding. So they have time to do it, so they kind of fit number one, but they're usually employed. But they have more time to do it. They're dedicating their life to something, and it's still unsustainable for them, but they do it because it's part of like their like activity, right? So that doesn't fit us as well because we're not bodybuilding. We just want a physique that matches our drive, that looks good, that we feel confident in. Not this like weird, like bulky, like almost like monsterish physique. We want like a lean chisel, like Brad Pitt from Fight Club kind of physique, like kind of like the physique that I'm sporting on right now. So it's these two people that this physique, that this like split usually works for. People have all the time in the world, or compete in bodybuilding. Also number three, people who just don't know any better. We've been told by all of our favorite gym influencers that this is the only split to go through. These people who claim natty, who are trying to sell their program, saying that you have to build, the only way to build muscles is by going to the gym so frequently. But that's completely bullshit. In fact, there's like studies proving, I'm not gonna look them up, you can look them up, that all that you really need to do is hit your muscles at least twice a week. And we can easily do that by going to the gym 2 to 4 days a week. So 5 to 7 days a week, right? It works for only some sort of people. So that's obviously showing that's not gonna be us. And I learned the hard way, and I don't want you to learn. You've probably learned already, if you're currently doing this, that it doesn't work for you. So the alternative that actually works, like I said, is going to the gym 2 to 4 days per week. And it fits the mark because you're hitting your muscles 2 times per week, assuming that you're on a good split. And what a good split looks like, and what I highly recommend, and what I tell my clients, is full body or upper lower. Now, personally, if people don't know like what works for them, or they don't know for sure like what days would actually work for them, I usually assign them to like the 3x full body split. So what the 3x full body split that looks like is, let's say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you're not doing chest, you're not doing biceps, but you're hitting all the muscles. So maybe on Monday, you'll do like a bench press, maybe a row and something like that. And then maybe like some deadlifts. Maybe on Wednesday, you'll do some like sort of like squat and lunge and stuff like that. Or maybe some like other upper body stuff. So you're doing both upper body and lower body stuff all mixed into the same day. Now, that may seem overwhelming. Oh shoot, like it takes you so long already in the gym to do my upper days for like my arm days. Well, the difference is that on these like full body or like upper lower days, you're gonna focus more on compound movements, right? Instead of the isolations. Isolations, so we can imagine things like, let's see, is this showing up? Yeah, it's showing up. Things like bicep curls. Like you know this stuff already, but I'll remind you. Bicep curls, like chest press, pretty much anything that's like a machine for the most part is an isolation exercise. So this stuff, yeah, that's gonna take you hours to do because you're hitting all these like little tiny like micro like movements that target like one muscle group. Like let's say for the bicep curls, you're targeting like the biceps. Let's say for the chest press, you're targeting like the chest. Maybe some triceps, but mostly the chest. Maybe a little bit of shoulders too, but mostly the chest. So the solution, to condense so much into a full body day while also being time efficient is focused on the compound movements. Let me just erase this to make some more room. Focus on the compound movements. Where you're focused on stuff like a bench press, which could be anywhere from dumbbell or barbell, and either incline, flat, doesn't really matter, as long as you hit that twice a week. And then you'll have a row. Again, dumbbell or barbell or both. I usually have, like, for myself and my clients, I usually do like a hybrid of like both. And that could be like, I don't know, like a Pendlay row, or like barbell, like a bent over row. And then for the other four, you'll have stuff like lat pull downs, / chin ups, / pull ups, whatever you can handle, whatever you like the best. Then you're gonna have, let's say, a overhead press. Again, dumbbell, barbell, dumbbell, overhead press, shoulder press, military press, whatever you want to call it. I just call it that. I don't give a fuck what the correct terminology is. All I know is that it's the movement where you go like up like that. I don't need to be some stupid nerd that knows all the, like, you know, the different ins and outs of like the names of the movements, but I'm calling it overhead press. And then you got two more for your lower body. You got your squat and you got your deadlift. Again, choosing your own variations of both that you like. And what's amazing about this is not only when you do the majority of this in your workout plan that it saves you time, it's also like fully customizable too. Like you see here, I've written up all these different options that you can do, and you can take them, throw them into your plan, and boom, you've got a schedule that you like and that works with your schedule. Instead of going to the gym 5 to 7 days a week, doing all these like crazy isolations that everyone tells you to do, you've got this plan that's fully customizable that you can enjoy. And what that means is that, like, why that's like a good thing on top of having fun with it is you're gonna be able to stick to this for decades. We're not talking months, we're not talking for like a couple years and quitting. We're talking about decades. And physiques, especially for like the long term, where if you want to be like the super jacked guy in your 60s and 70s in the future, this is built from long-term results, not from like a couple weeks of like I was doing from back and forth, doing like these like bullshit like 5 to 7 day splits, but then going back to like the 2 to 3 days because I can't handle all the burnouts from going to the gym so many times a week. And speaking of burnout, what's also great about these like full body and upper lower splits and going to the gym 2 to 4 days a week is that you can focus more on the lifts too. Like you're gonna be less tired, which means you can put more focus into the lifts. Like if you imagine, if you were to study every single day for like your college exam or whatnot, or if you were to practice something every single day for your business, it would get routine, it would get dull, and you'd be dreading it the next day. However, if you were to take 2 to 4 days out of the week and condense all that into there, then you're gonna be kind of looking forward to it too, because it feels almost novelty and new. Like I've been doing this split for the past like 2, almost 3 years now of like 3-day full body, and it's still fun to me because, you know, by the time my workouts are done, I'm ready for the next one. But compared to back then where I was training almost every single day and I was dreading the next workout, we wanna be in the mindset where, let me just get rid of this real quick. We want to be in the mindset where fitness equals fun, where fitness is a part of life. Because if it's seen as this thing where it's like, okay, I'll do this for a couple months, maybe like a couple weeks or whatever, and I'm done, you're not going to have these long-term results. And that's why you're going to stay stuck. And that's why things like the 7-day split are completely BS. You know, like it works for some people, but it's not gonna work for guys like us, guys who are ambitious, guys who are multifaceted. Kind of like the Renaissance men is what I would call them, where they're not gym bros. They're like in other areas of life. They have like their business, they have their work, they have other interests that they want to focus on and just have fitness be a part of their life. And that's exactly the way that I preach to live, the exact way that my clients live. And if you want to build a dream physique that matches your ambition, that matches your drive, book a call me down below, one-on-one. We'll talk about your goals, your ambitions, like your story, and see how we can work together.